Yes. Hoodmystic.com. El Melchizedek, I'm the Hood Mystic. Today we are talking about forgiveness, the law of forgiveness, universal law. I'm just going to share this video on a couple different platforms and I'll continue to build if you just give me a second. So forgiveness, it's a form of forgiveness that we are used to, but I'm talking about a high vibratory forgiveness. And the reason why I talk about forgiveness is because in my personal life, forgiveness has been the thing that I have used to shift and transform my life. And like life and information, these things don't move in a straight line. They move circular. So with that being said, in the cycles, I'm going to revisit forgiveness and incorporate it in my life, and also continue to build and continue to share. So the etymology of the word forgive is perdonare, and the meaning of that is to give completely without reservation. So it also means to pardon offense. So if somebody does something, you pardon them, you forgive them for an offense that they've done to you. Or you can also forgive a debt. So if somebody owes you some money, if you forgive it, you forget about it and you move on from it. So that's the original meaning of forgiveness. Now, I want to first point out what forgiveness isn't. And so we live in a world where a bunch of fake forgiveness is doled out, and that's pointless because it's not to give completely. It's like, I will tolerate you, but I still hold that vibration that it was wrong. So yeah, I forgive you, but, and so that's not forgiveness. We are still at our core belief feeling as though we have the ability to judge and look down on others and actually hold that negative vibration. So in these ways, forgiveness is fake. Through obligation, where we feel like we have to forgive, or through righteousness, another way of a spiritual deviancy or spiritual perverseness, that forgiveness is just some holier than thou practice, but really have no real understanding of what forgiveness is. Or we could forgive and as if we're some type of God over others, to say, I'll forgive you, as if you're doing a favor to somebody, as if like people don't have their own experience and they need your forgiveness. That is fake forgiveness. That's pointless. And then how we can pretend to not be angry when we really are angry, and we deny our anger and we suppress our anger, and that becomes part of our core, part of the thing that is ruling and running our life. Because whether you know it or not, 95% of your actions are done on an unconscious level. So if you're not able to address that 95%, you're not really making changes. So when you deal with the law of attraction and you deal with spiritual beliefs, we deal with the core of understanding our true nature, and we operate through life from that aspect. We are not taking this thing as humans. We are taking this thing as spirits, and we are holding on to that. So coming into spirituality, there's a lot of things that we have to forgive in ourselves, because a lot of things that we've learned and a lot of things that we held on to are mistakes. And if we aren't able to forgive ourselves, first and foremost, for not being one with God and making that change to move forward with not God in the sky, but the God within, we adopt a victim mentality. Now, a victim mentality is an acquired personality trait in which a person tends to recognize themselves as a victim of negative actions of others, and to behave as if this were the case in the face of clear evidence of such circumstances, meaning that when we adopt a victim mentality, it's like us searching for a band-aid for a scar that isn't there. It is us looking for a feeling of sympathy when we are not victims. We are actually victors, but that's only if you're tapping into your spirituality. You can't come into your spirituality on some weak shit. You have to come into your spirituality as God, as a happier, wealthier, brighter experience that transcends every negative thing that you possibly could experience. Now, if you're looking at it from your experience and your perspective and judging your life as negative, and you've grown up in this country, you really need to step back a second and do some research on how people live who don't carry your light in other third world countries. You really need to sit and really understand the human condition on this planet for you to be in this country to feel bad about your experience. And I don't care what you've experienced, because it is children that are experiencing what you experienced that one fucking time every day, multiple times a day. I don't care if you've been shot. It's kids that gotta deal with war every day. And fuck walking to school. It ain't no school. You better get you a gun and protect whatever little life you got left. And you know, it's a touchy subject, but even the topic of rape, we could experience something so brutal one time, or maybe multiple times, but we get out of it, we grow from it, we experience life outside of that, but still hold the core belief that rape is right around the corner, or rape is something that, and I'm not downplaying rape, I'm saying that it is little girls that get raped every day, multiple times a day, millions of little girls. You understand that this world is not a good place. The human condition is not a good condition. So the thing that we must do is rise out of the human condition into a spiritual reality and really embrace that. And from that perspective, we all can heal ourselves and heal the world from a higher vibratory rate. Now, forgiveness of the past experience is a profound concept. It is taken from the book Radical Forgiveness by Calvin Tippin, and I'm piggybacking on his theory, which I've used personally, and it actually does work. So if you do follow me on Facebook and things of that nature, my perspective is through radical forgiveness. That changed a lot for me, because I've had a long and hard, difficult life, and I carried a lot of that with me everywhere I went, and real things have happened to me, but I'm able to incorporate radical forgiveness by saying that no, that didn't happen that way. In your mind, if your mother abandoned you, in your mind, you can, it may be a fact that your mother abandoned you, but you also have the ability to think about it in a different way, to change the vibration for which you want to stimulate your future at a cause level. If your vibration is that of abandonment at a core level, and you don't adjust that, and you only try to deal with that and try to put a band-aid over that and rock that shit to sleep and feel better about that, it won't work. So ultimately, and that's why you see millions and millions and millions and millions of our people caught up in what you call a minority or a caste system, where they show us getting shot on TV and things of that nature. But that's by design. They tell you about slavery, they tell you about Jim Crow, they tell you about the 1920s, how they was hanging niggas, and all of these things may be true. But if we hold on to that vibratory point, that core belief that as black people in this country, we are second class citizens, we are slaves, we are this, we are that, that's what we manifest for ourselves in our present reality. So through radical forgiveness of our condition, of our mind, of our ability to tap into our spirit, and we just didn't. Maybe we didn't have the information, but we all get to a point, we all reach a crux where we could actually tap into our spiritual abilities and really make massive changes. But what's going to hold us back is those core beliefs, those human core beliefs that we haven't transcended. And it's like the butterfly wanting to bring along caterpillar mentalities into flying, and trying to incorporate climbing on trees into flying. Well, that's two different modalities. Walking on the ground and flying is two different modes. And a lot of us choose to just focus on the past, and not even the past as it is truly set, the past on what is given to us by media, school. This core belief, we've all went to school and told that we were descendants of slaves before we even had a chance to rationally examine the idea of even being a slave in this country or anything. We've never had a chance to even examine who we were. And as we grow and as we learn, we understand that we're actually descendants of God, and we actually have a divine ability to tap into a level of spirituality that no man can touch. But if we continue to imagine ourselves as something less than that, that is fucked up, and we are going to get punished for that, because we are not human beings. We are spiritual beings in human form, and that's the truth. So you mean to tell me a butterfly isn't going to suffer for trying to act like a caterpillar? He's going to get his ass stomped out. It's not going to work for him. When you're supposed to fly, you're supposed to fly. And the sin in supposed to fly and not flying is the fact that you're not flying. So we have to once take a step back and realize who we are. Is your spirit that of greatness and just all wonder and infinite knowledge and supreme beingism? Or are you a human, flawed individual who makes mistakes, and this is going to be difficult, and this is going to be hard, and I'm the victim, and they don't like me, and she don't like me, and we can't do this, and I can't do that, based upon my past, and all of these things that really break you down. And eventually you don't learn the lesson. You don't learn that the whole point of life is to forgive. The whole point of life is to reimagine and revision yourself in the reality that you want to create, and not the reality that has been created for you. And now this is new information, so it's hard to grasp. It's hard to get your head around the fact of saying some pain that you actually held on to this pain, and it's actually been like a damn trophy or something that you've actually been, it's been weighing you down, it's been making you sad, but yet and still is part of your conversation, is part of your being, meaning you holding on to that, meaning that that's at a core level. I don't give a shit what you learning about. I don't care what you do in life, how much money you make. Everything that you experience on the effect level is never going to amount to shit if you don't change your core beliefs on who you truly are. That's what you are on this planet to realize and understand. That's what I truly believe. I don't believe I'm on this earth to make a lot of money and to fucking live in a fucking rap video. Like, that's not my goal. My goal is to be spiritual, and wherever my spirit leads me, that's where the hell I'm going, and I'm happy about that. I don't have to pick and choose about what I hate and what I don't hate, what I like and what I don't like. That shit means nothing to me, because I'm going to die one day, but my spirit's going to live on. So what did I take from this experience? Did I forgive the humanity in me that's already... Humanity walks through the door. As soon as he opened the goddamn door, humanity at your door, you looking at something imperfect. So when you dealing with people, you expect them to be something that you're not even. That's quote unquote a sin, and you need to forgive yourself for even expecting a human being to be something perfect when humanity's not even designed like that. We all go through shit. It's not a soul living, walking that's not going through something, and it may not be nothing. You might have $100 ticket, but ain't never been to jail a day in your life. So that's just as traumatic as me going to jail for 3 years. To you, I don't know your experience. You don't know my experience. Some of us are tougher than others. Some of us have a higher pain tolerance. Some people walk around disfigured and still have to make it. Some people don't have legs, but still get around. I know people that do not have legs but get around more than a nigga who could fucking run in the Olympics. It's all mental, and your mind is more powerful than your body. So in your mind is your connection to your spirituality. So how you think about your life and how you really truly see yourself in truth is going to make or break your experience on this planet. And it's not about the money, it's not about love, it's not about anything of that nature. And all of these are systems to get into, to hijack your emotions, hijack your experience on this planet, to say, well, since you ain't living in this neighborhood, you have a right to complain now. Since you don't have this or that, you have a right to feel a certain type of way, when you don't even examine what you came down here for this, down to this planet to do. So if you haven't addressed what you came here to do, then anything anybody tells you what you should or shouldn't do is going to affect you, because you don't know. You don't have a vision. You don't have a goal. You don't have a focus. But for the fact of you not having a focus for all of these years, that process has to be healed. That condition has to be healed within you. How do you heal that condition? You heal that condition by forgiving yourself for not connecting to spirit consistently, consciously, daily, tapping into the most magical part of you that can save your personal life right now. Forgiving yourself. If you really sat and meditate and really was passionate about forgiving yourself, you would experience a shift in your reality. I guarantee that. Because your perspective on life is wrong if you feel like, look, you can only be a victim once. Any other time after that, you a volunteer. So forgive yourself for volunteering all of this negative energy, putting it out there. when humanity is imperfect from the door. Once we stepped into this planet, a doctor smacked you on your goddamn ass. Like, soon as you entered the world, you was getting smacked. Humanity is imperfect. Thus, we have to forget a doctor that smacked him because this is what he was taught. He didn't know any better. So we come to this understanding of forgiveness and it being powerful based on the fact that we possess physical bodies. We are souls that possess physical bodies. We are in humanity. We are not humanity. When we die, our souls live on. Thus, death is just an illusion that's created in our minds, in our psyches. And we have two modalities that we can choose to live by. We can live by spirit or we can live by humanity. I personally live by spirit. I'm spirit led. So spirit tells me to feel this, do this, say this, I'm going to say it. Spirit say talk about forgiveness, I'm going to talk about forgiveness. That's what my channel is. My channel is spirit led. The videos that I put out are led by spirit. My house is spirit. My relationships with people are of a spiritual nature. I don't get into the humanity thing. I'm not close to my family, quote unquote. I'm connected to my spiritual family, my soulmates. Thus, I have a happy existence, and I'm not trying to cater to all of this imperfection, trying to make this imperfection perfect. I already know it's fucked up, and you're not going to tell me anything different because I've seen it in many different forms and fashions. I've seen rich, broke, poor, happy, sad, good, bad, and what? I'm in this world to experience what I came here to experience, and a human won't understand that. Only a spirit would. So, we forgive because we create our reality by the law of cause and effect. And if at our cause point we have a core belief of something that is not true, we manifest untruths. Thus, this information goes over people's head and it won't get 1 million views. And that's okay. Because we have millions and millions and millions of people dealing with the effect that's already been set in motion. And it's like, it's so big and so wide and so vast of things that we could possibly do that we're not dealing with square one. That's why I keep my message simple and basic and to the point, and not be so complicated and abstract, because that serves nobody but whoever's talking's ego. Makes them feel better, makes them feel special. But he's not healing. He's not focusing on what is true. The world is a mirror to our beliefs. We have one problem and one problem only, is that we do not connect to the God within us on a constant and consistent basis. We have one problem and one problem only. Our first mistake was that we did not connect with the God within us on a constant, consistent basis and allow it to guide us and to fulfill us and to be that person when we are quote unquote lonely. And the mistakes that we made out of our loneliness. So, to forgive ourselves, like I said at the beginning, is to give completely. That's why forgiveness is so powerful and transformational. When you forgive yourself, you completely give yourself a fresh start. It's like you just wipe the board with the eraser and now you have a clean slate to create. There's no more anger at our core. There's no more sadness, hurt, and pain. That's gone because we've forgiven that one time where we was a victim, and every other time we realized we were just a volunteer. anything can happen to anybody at any given moment. That's a fact. That is a fact. Thus, if something happens to you, you need to figure out why that happened to you. And I think it's real funny how we pick and choose what we hate and what we truly resent and the things that really get our blood boiling, right? That shit is a farce. That shit is fake. Anger is some of the fakest shit that's going on in our society right now. Because we don't hate everything. We don't even have the capacity to hate every atrocity that's going on in the globe at this moment. We can only hate what's really close to us. This thing that we've experienced. Meaning that it's something in you that needs to be healed. It's something in you that needs to be examined, recognized, and pinpointed, and you need to radically forgive it. So if it's something traumatic that actually did happen, think about it in a different way to create a different vibration. So when you manifest, you're not manifesting from that point. You don't want to, if you experienced in the past and it was unpleasant, you don't want to experience it again. Thus, you need to think about it in a different way. An example, nigga punched you in the mouth 10 years ago, 20 years ago, depending on how old you is. It traumatically affected you into a way to where you scared everywhere you go or this, that, and the third. Just imagine that you whoop that nigga's ass. Like you just imagine, just in that vibration, in that moment, when you think back to that point in time, just imagine that did not happen. That's radical forgiveness. That puts you in a different vibratory frequency that your law of attraction completely changes. It becomes something different. Because at the end of the day, the dude's not punching you in the face every day. It happened 20 years ago when you was in high school. You wasn't looking. He sucker punched you. Whatever. But he not doing it every day. But you thinking about this thing every day at a deep level. And it's ruling how you communicate and interact with men now. Your ex cheated on you. So every relationship, you looking around the corner, making sure that this dude don't cheat on you and this dude and that. What if you vibratorily, you single, and you go into a relationship like he just bought you flowers all the time, he paid your bills, he did everything that you wanted a man to do. And this is the vibratory frequency that you are carrying into your next relationship. So you could experience something different, because you don't know every man and you don't know the next man that's coming into your life. Only thing you know is your core beliefs, and that's what you're going to look out for. If his phone ring at 3 a.m. and if he does something that reminds you of a previous trigger, quote unquote. So just radical forgiveness. I just wanted to touch on how we can actually change our vibration instantly and really begin to forgive ourselves on a deep level and experience a shift, experience transformation so deep and so wonderful that you can't even explain a life where spirit is leading you. It's unfathomable. It's so amazing, it's so beautiful, and it's so incredible to let spirit lead you and guide you through your life. As opposed to humanity, as I said, soon as humanity walked through the door, it's imperfect. So good luck with that. So we're going to run through the differences of radical forgiveness and regular forgiveness. So, low vibratory forgiveness is the regular forgiveness. High vibratory forgiveness is radical forgiveness, because we are changing our reality on a deep level. So when we think of things, we don't think about things and have our frequency pulled down to a point. We don't think about slavery all goddamn day, because we'll bring that energy into our lives. We think about being lords and kings and mystics and spiritual leaders, teachers even. When we look at life, are we taking the human approach, or are we taking a spiritual approach? Can we look at life, can we look at the past as something wrong has happened, or nothing wrong has happened? Are we focused on judging others, or do we fully understand the futility in judgment? Who are we to judge anybody? Unless you out here walking this bitch perfect. And even so, I still don't want your judgment. I don't need it. That's just how I feel. So I'm not going to do that to nobody else. Do we need to know everything about everything that's going wrong in the world? Or are we okay with life as it is? And that's acceptance. That's another video. Acceptance. Are we a victim? Or are we a victor that has overcome the victim mentality? Because the victor and the victim are the same person. It's just a perception. Do we realize that all of humanity is imperfect and accept it? Or do we want to change it? It's a very difficult concept. But it's a very simple and easy concept to go into your mind and say, this happened the way my life, my childhood was exactly the way I wanted it to be. You heal that young person inside of you, because that young person inside of you is still experiencing, and that motherfucker is ruling your life. And so you need to turn back around and say, you know what? It was a perfect childhood. Like, you have to finesse yourself sometimes. You cannot look. If we gonna bring about change, we gotta bring about change on a deep level. We can't change the effects. We can't change our relationships now. We can't change the person that we in a relationship with. And I'm telling you, the person that you have a problem with is you. All the damn time. It's never a point where with radical forgiveness, the concept is, if it's a problem with me and my either ability to not look at the past correctly, and in truth, I haven't learned from the past. And since I haven't learned from the past, I carry these negative energies with me everywhere I go. Every time I say hi to a nigga, I'm bringing all the old and none of the spiritual revelation and all the cool shit that we can post and all the pictures and all the quotes and all of that. We not living that because the core of us has not even been spoken to and corrected and digested. And I promise you, when we forgive ourselves on a deep level, it's so amazing. Money comes, love comes, opportunity comes, your ability to be free. It's amazing. If you feel yourself in a difficult point of time, then it's time for you to forgive yourself. It's time to erase that dry erase board that we call our brain. Make it clean. Be on a clean slate. Is it a problem out there in the world, or is it something within me that I need to correct? It's always something in me that I need to correct. If I got a problem with somebody, I gotta do work. So hopefully you got people in your life to say, hey, I need some time to myself, because I'm not mad at you, but inside of me is a feeling that I don't like right now. I need to deal with me. I need to understand I need me right now. And hopefully you got people in your life that will support that. Because it's either that life is just a random set, like we just down here, or we have a purpose in understanding this matrix, this illusion, this earth, and ourselves in it. It's a reason why we are here in it, and we need to deal with that. And how do we deal with that? We deal with that through a union of ourself and spirit, and ourselves and everyone else around us. That's how you find purpose. Are you letting personality lead you? So I'm a Taurus, I'm a girl, I got this, I got that, and I gotta live my life a certain type of way, or I'm conscious, so I gotta wear ankhs now. If I don't come out the house without a dashiki, I can't wear leggings no more, I'm conscious. Or are you just investing in your soul and following this plan, giving yourself time to meditate and listen to what your soul has to say, and then following that and being consistent with your meditations, living your life on a spiritual plane, doing your rituals, like really clearing your mind, letting your personality go, and letting your soul take over, and trusting in your soul, or trying to use your soul to acquiesce to humanity. So I'm going to use my soul to get a lot of money so I could be the shit on these niggas, and then they'll respect me. I need a money spill so I could stun on these niggas. Man, this journey has led me to places that I'm not happy about, in the sense of it really fucked my ego up. But on a soul level, I made it. It was an experience. It's all an experience, whether it's good, whether it's great, whether it's horrible. I've been through some horrible shit that I don't have no regrets, because I've learned from those things. And I realized that I created that reality. That reality just didn't happen to me. A lot of the shit that I experience is based upon my fear and core beliefs that I had in myself. It's my responsibility to change that. And until I change that, ain't nothing gonna be right. So, like we do at the end of these videos, we discuss universal law. We deal with the practicalities of it all, and then we bring it back to the actual law. So, the laws we're talking about today is the law of cyclic return and the law of forgiveness. Now, forgiveness isn't something new to me. It's something that I've dealt with on multiple occasions in my spiritual journey. But I'm back here like I never left, and I'll be back again, because I don't know how long it's going to be. When I need, maybe tomorrow, I have to forgive myself for something that I did, or whatever the case may be. But make forgiveness part of your spiritual routine, your spiritual diet. Always forgive yourself, because that human side of you is prone to make mistakes. And not even mistakes, it's just the point of just wiping the slate clean so you can fully be guided, fully be present, instead of looking through. It's like a filter. Over time, if you have like a water filter or something like that, over time, that shit builds up. And it's hard for the water to filter through. So you got to take the filter out, clean it out, put it back in there, and now it's a whole new filter again. That's forgiveness. We have to filter out the negative emotions in our auric field so we can begin to manifest on a clear, pure, spiritual level. Because this shit, it gets gunked up over time, over life, and we just attract so much dealing with family, media, social, like that shit is absorbed in us. So we have to forgive ourselves from all the muck and be clear. So the law of cyclic return is saying that all karma must be cleared and forgiven, and certain aspects of soul growth must be accomplished before this entire episode of reincarnational growth is considered finished. So until you grasp this concept that it's a purpose for everything, you're going to end up dying feeling a certain type of way about some shit that you had no control over, and come right back into this earth and experience it again. That's what we here for. We here to clear ourselves from this cycle. This shit is hell. Don't nobody want to be down here. We want to be butterflies. But until we learn to fly, we need to actually incorporate our spirit in everything we do. That's important. The law of forgiveness. By forgiveness, the universe is held together. Forgiveness is the might of the mighty. Forgiveness is quiet of the mind. Forgiveness and gentleness are the qualities of the self-possessed and represents eternal virtue. So forgiveness is an aspect that you carry on past death. So is begrudging a person, or that anger. That's what a ghost is, or that's what a zombie or a ghoul is a person who's so dead set on getting get back that it just come back to this reality. It's stuck here in this place, in this third dimension, when our lives and our beings are so much more powerful. So it's a major thing. It's a big thing. And I know majority of people ain't ready for it. And that's okay. Because that's humanity for you. Humanity is flawed. Humanity wants to heal itself from a flawed perspective. But from a spiritual perspective, that's a supreme, superior perspective. The God within. So my suggestion would be to forgive yourself often. Meditate with your spirit and really allow that to guide you, and stop letting your personality guide you. Stop letting your fears and your worries guide you. But that's the build, man. That's forgiveness. Any questions, I'll still be here. It's a rather longer video than usual, but I'm gonna keep it pushing.